morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me close down some of this stuff as the you holding a subject down some things. Go over a bit of time as like I prepare. As I told you guys last week, I said, this Friday I will be going back to I'll be going back to Richmond. I'll be going back to Richmond tomorrow as we receive the governor's amendment. And like I told you guys that the governor more than likely was going to hold on to some of these amendments until I think he had until today. But we're going to go through some of the things that, just within the past, they came out last night, within the past couple of hours, that I've seen, that I didn't see, that I wanted to see, and hopefully you guys can, provide your feedback. As always, I'm Jackie Glass, mama and Navy vet, certified doer, and the laced up legislator for the House of Delegates, 89th District. So grateful, so honored to be with you guys today, and hopeful that this past week has been a good experience, recognizing that many of you have little citizens wrapping up the school year, that the summer is among us, and and that we've got a lot to prepare for, and as I said, and I'm not, I'm going to continue to say this, I'm super concerned about our littlest citizens this summer, people in general. What I do know, as the gap widens between what kind of money we have and what it costs, there's opportunity as our communities continue to have rising prices for rent and housing, and our children walk away from our schools on a daily basis, and our police officers are continuously worked while the force diminishes. This summer we really have to be astute and just attentive, that's the word I was looking for, attentive to our folks around us. So I'm asking you all to just, in your corner of the world, be that light. With that, I'm going to get straight away into some of these amendments, and I find myself a bit somber about the statewide business that we have today. So I'm going to pull this out so that I can also see what's going on here. All right, so as I told you guys, we're in the final sort of part of the race as we look at the state budget. And we did all of our work on June 1st. Now the governor is going down and he's provided us with his amendments. I cannot remember exactly how many there were. I actually could just look as I was on the app, but here's some of the things that stood out the most that I think I'm going to go through some positives, and then walk you through some of the things that I think are not so positive for us. So there is an amendment currently in the budget right now that expands early reading specialist initiative, right? So it's going to provide additional funding to some of the lowest ranked statewide schools on the third grade reading level for SOL. So there's going to be some that score the lowest, expanding the reading specialists to provide that additional funding. Secondly, when the original budget came out, there was some ARPA funding that was a bonus for educators. I may have to go in because this dog. Additional funding, and the governor schools were not included, right? So we have these governor schools, we have our public schools, and these governor schools were not included. So there's an amendment to add them into the budget. There's increased financial assistance for Virginia historically black colleges and universities. That's a plus, but I'm going to away from HBCUs, right? To the tune of 100 million. So this is a good thing to increase the financial assistance to allow folks to be able to go to get more financial assistance to attend HBCUs. Secondly, the Hampton Roads, what am I saying? So the Hampton Roads Proton Beam Therapy Institute at Hampton University is going to be able to do proton therapy treatment. They're going to have, they got increased funding. I'm walking in, y'all, because today seems like a very noisy day outside, but I enjoy my fresh air. So they're going to get some extra funding to do what it is that they do typically, which is an amazingly wonderful There is going to be added additional funding for security positions at state-operated mental health facilities to improve patient and staff safety. You know, what I would love to see more of is not just the increased security positions, but staff, right? So we did hear from folks that work at some of our mental health facilities saying, hey, like, it's dangerous sometimes, and we really don't want to be putting ourselves in the position where we are. Things that I saw within the budget. Okay, got it. Making sure we're connected. All right. And then some of the negative things. To what is or is not happening in our budget. Number one, the budget now is we're back to doing something that we said is a very unsafe. I can't think of all the words. It's actually inappropriate. It's something that is not standard in the General Assembly, but legislating through the budget. We have a legislative process to which bills go from their respective chambers to the respective committees of those chambers, all the way through to where the governor can amend. That's the process of legislating. And so a shortcut way, and probably one of the most inappropriate ways to legislate, is through the budget, because as I told you guys, the budget takes precedence over the codes, the laws, right? And so what's happened in our new budget amendments, what we got down from the governor, there is a budget amendment that creates a Class 6 felony for demonstrating, which is a Class 6 felony for protesting. We have a restricted use of public funds for certain abortion services. And this is like way to waiting on this verdict for Roe v. Wade. There's creating a new rebuttal against bail, right? Some presumptions against bail. There's also something that in there that an amendment that it protects statewide electeds and judges, particularly from gun violence, but we haven't really seen any movement from us as a state on how we protect our children. There's a piece in there that removes in-state tuition for Dreamers and undocumented students. And that's something that's going to affect both students in school right now and those that look to get into school. Like this, that's a real, those are some real, and I use the word problematic and I don't want to use it lightly, but those are some issues that we need to keep our eyes and ears towards with this budget. So that's what I have right now, and we are going to continue to go through the budget amendments to make sure that we're communicating with you all what is or is not happening. Secondly, at the state level, recently there was an article, and I told you guys the media makes all the difference in the work that we do. Our current chief public health official. Okay, got it. Our current chief health official, his name is Colin Green. He is the commissioner of public health, the state health commissioner. He's been on the job for 5 months, right? And people are already fearful for their jobs at the state level with the commissioner. There was a Washington Post article, and I'm going to go ahead and actually let me first provide you guys with the opportunity to, these are the budget amendments. He's been on the job all of 5 months and has already has folks really afraid for their status at the workplace. And I'm going to share the article that talks a little bit about him. If you have access to the Washington Post, then you'll be able to read it. Yes, a class 6 felony for protesting. That's an amendment. It's to read it. I will fair warn you, as I was forewarned, that it can be really upsetting. Allowing our babies, right? Slavers, children, and causing these deeply rooted medical deficiencies because the enslaved children were forced to drink goat milk and cow milk, and that is why we see a lot of that is directly related to many of the health disparities that we see today. And so what's most troubling is that the use or the ideology, right? This is philosophical. His philosophical means, and I need you guys to understand, this is our state health commissioner. This is the head guy. He thinks that racism is a politically charged word that alienates white people and will undermine his department's or the department's mission to protect the well-being of all Virginians. And further went on to say, hey, 40% of those identifying as white. To understand where his mindset and where he is coming from, Mr. Green, Colin Green, is a 63-year-old retired Army physician who says that because he was he was in the Army for 30 years, that shaped his diverse view of the way the world works. And I want to be really, 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 really clear, is that in the little bit of time that I spent on active duty in the military, working and dealing with physicians, I cannot tell you the number of times that I have felt that the skin that I was in was directly, and also verified the skin that I in was directly related to the lack of care. Now, to be quite honest, many people in the military face substandard care, and I've had some amazing physicians. But he goes into infant mortality and Black mothers and child bearing and saying that that the difference, the reason why there's a difference is because of medical practice and not racism. And I just want to debunk and really it doesn't shake me because I'm never surprised by this, but even my experience of giving birth to my two children in the military, I was told several times that I was not ready to have my child. I was told that I wasn't in the pain that I was in. I was told that, you know what, we're just gonna give you a C-section because of, and I ended up not doing that because there was another, I advocated for myself while in labor, right? Which is something that you don't want to be fighting with doctors while you're trying to give birth to a child. When I was, and I said this in my floor speech, when I was sexually assaulted, myself and another young woman were both assaulted by the same, sexually promiscuous. And that is how I got this STD from this gentleman that raped me, right? Now this other woman, she also, that's how we were able to sort of prove that she went and saw the same Navy nurse because we were on a very small command. Her about, did she say that you probably been sleeping, like, did she make assumptions? And she did not. And I ended up not getting any care for that assault, right, which was the second assault that I ended up just saying, when I was confronted with that, I said, I'm not even prosecuting, I'm not going through this process. And the other young woman that I found out was assaulted, she actually went through the process. Difference between us, and it's hurtful and it's harmful. So as we look forward to the next couple years with the kinds of language that we've seen with this executive branch, the kinds of folks that have been charged with being out front of this executive branch, this is not something to play with if you truly believe that our Constitution needs to be altered to have freedom, liberty, and justice for all. If you believe in that for all version, and we have to get more people engaged because they are not playing with us with their ideals. Legislating through the budget, saying that racism is a politically charged word, and people will buy directly into that. This as I am just really sort of wrapping my head around what the next year is going to look like as a legislator, working with an executive branch that has time and time again reminded us that they would rather us be and with how the treatment of people, with how we identify people with all these different things. It's not okay, and I'm not nervous, but I am moved, I am charged, and my goal is to bring you guys in on this. Good morning. All right, so if you just joined us in the chat, I put the links for the governor's amendments. So if you want to check them out yourself, I've ran through them. We talked a little bit about the health commissioner, new state health commissioner, and his belief that racism plays no part in health disparities. And so we're going to move on to local things, right? It's important for you all to know we've talked a lot about part of access to things is transportation. I really want to make sure I put this bug in your ear that today from 12 to 2 at the Newtown Road Station, and that's 6201 There's going to be the light rail expansion workshop. I will put these things in there. And then from 5 to 7 at Calvary Presbyterian, we need people to, it needs to be a participatory process. So if you are interested in what that looks like and what the light rail expansion, being a part of that conversation, please, please, please go be a part of that. There is some more conversations about what's happening specifically with combating violence. I had the opportunity on Tuesday to go to the work that was put in by the Newark Street team to sort of give our city some more best practices on the data and the results. It was really nice to see. The Commonwealth's attorney was there, the sheriff was there, the acting police chief was there, the street team, all of council, just really people that are invested in really seeing the tide change here. And again, like I said, my heart is outside of my chest, really thinking about what resources, what opportunities that, that of the fact that a lot of the things that we're seeing are because of the decade disinvestment into communities, specifically community of color, specific, and let me just not say communities, specifically Black communities, and even more low income communities. So that the fact that they connected those things, they gave me some food for thought on some legislation that we probably need to bring forward for the General Assembly about protecting victims, right? That's something you didn't hear in the budget, as we've been really chomping at the bit about getting witness protection. They talked about victim compensation. That's a huge piece of it. Things you haven't seen, that we didn't really see get a good service in our budget. So there's some work for Nope, just some good mornings. Good morning to you all. Let me do this. As I said before, and thank you, I want to express gratitude to the team for making sure that we have all the updates. It's always helpful. I'm looking at, yeah. I'm really trying to find my footing with what we're going to do tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow I will be back in Richmond, and we will hopefully be having some really good conversations about what some of these amendments mean. I am looking forward to voting, hopefully being able to vote against some of these, because I just don't believe they're a walk in the right direction. And I put the link in the chat, and I encourage you guys, even if this is your first time interacting with the state level stuff at this way, that you can always reach out to our office at Del J Glass at house.virginia, and you can ask any questions that you may have. If I could spell Virginia, .gov. All right. And because some of this stuff is really ridiculous, we will be launching, last but not least before I go, we are launching the Certified Doer Summer School. This is our policy work groups that will start at the end of July and it'd be and the mid-August. Before summer school, 4 virtual summer school classes and 1 in-person class. The classes will be about an hour long. We will be working on policy. We will be learning the process. There will be an opportunity for you all to cohort with folks that that are in our area that have the same areas of interest, to learn how you can also be an asset to building laws in the Commonwealth. It's going to be an exciting time. I already have my legislative agenda sort of together, but through this Certified Doer Summer School, I will be taking some of the best of the best of the best, and we will be looking at some of this really great legislation and taking it up to the General Assembly. I'm going to show you how we make it, and how it goes through the process, how you don't have to have, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we make a way. We have some really amazing legislation and ideas that have already been submitted by community members. I want you guys to remember, one of the best bills that we were able to enact was a bill that came straight from a guy across the street from Booker T. Washington High School at Park Avenue, who said, why we can't use the drug money for community development, why we can't use some of this drug money to buy to build a basketball hoop. And my staff member who was interacting with that person, he said, you know, Jack, this is real. Why can't we use some of the money to do community development? And we put that in, and now the definition for that has been expanded. So it's good work. Yep. It's really great work. And I'm going through, yeah, he doesn't believe, yep. Certified doers, yep, we're going to show it. Yeah. Robin, I agree with you. He doesn't need to be in that position if he believes that. And I'm going to encourage you all. I'm going to encourage you all to write letters to the governor. I'm going to encourage you to, and I need to get the address, and maybe I'll just do a single post about this, that we need to ensure that our governor recognize that the Commonwealth is not just a place for one ethnicity, and that shouldn't just serve one ethnicity for the sake of the comfort of the other. We cannot put ourselves in a place where we are willfully making our population ignorant, willfully making ourselves ignorant of our past, and how that has affected our present. We cannot put ourselves in that place, and that is what's happening. This chipping away and rebuction, and I hope that's a word. My husband gets on me. And this rebuke and shame and willingness to try to help our public get further away from the past is a direct threat to many of the liberties and progresses that we have made. So we cannot allow for that, and we should not have a health commissioner that believes that racism has nothing to do with why we are the way we are with our health disparities. We can't have it with anybody in housing. We can't have it with anybody in education. And we just consistently been shown that. Unacceptable. Steve, I will be putting out that flyer if you on what day and time, because the first lessons are 100% virtual. Our first summer school class, I see you're winning your wear to show up and show out. This is for the Certified Doer Summer School. So with that, I will tomorrow probably be going live as things go down inside of the General Assembly, just giving you guys a little lay of the land of what's happening while we're in Richmond. And I will look forward to you guys emailing me. Please email me some of the things I'm talking about. If you don't like what I said about the state health commissioner, if you don't like what I said about Colin Green, because I need to say that man's name right. If you don't like what Colin Green is saying and how he's going to be leading the department, it's okay to email me and say, Delegate Glass, what are you going to do about it? I need you to let our governor know that this is unacceptable. I need you all to do that. That allows, that puts fuel into the things that we're saying and doing and that we're advocating for. If you heard a budget amendment today that you're like, Jackie, Delegate Glass, this is unacceptable, it is okay to send me an email right now and say that budget amendment is unacceptable. Gauge. And it don't have to be long. It could be one sentence, okay? You all be safe out there. COVID has not gone away as we like sort of walk our way, and I'm trying to get back into the habit of carrying a mask at all times. Be careful. Be safe. You are a flower. Please water yourself. Get some sun if you can. It doesn't look like we're going to have much sunshine today. Happy, honored, and grateful to serve. I will see you on Tuesday and maybe for a tiny bit tomorrow. Make it a great day.